Hello and welcome to the lunch edition of MBC News. I am Mopile Kaisa. The headlines. Malawi and Zambia commit to strengthening bilateral defense and security cooperation to deal with security challenges in both countries. Dr. Victoria Bobby's murder suspects paraded to the crime scene, and sugar distributors involved in hoarding and externalization of the commodity risk having their licenses revoked following a warning from Minister of Trade. And now the news in detail. Malawi and Zambia have committed to continue strengthening bilateral defense and security cooperation as both countries continue to face common cross-border security challenges. Speaking in Salima during the 20th session of the Malawi-Zambia Joint Permanent Commission, Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Defense, Elvis Todi, said the two countries are grappling with emerging security threats, including transnational organized crime, illegal migration, smuggling, and cyber-related crimes. Nkhani Simtoe with the details.
Senior government officials, heads and security chiefs from Malawi and Zambia have gathered in Salima for the 20th session of the Malawi-Zambia Joint Permanent Commission on Defense and Security. Principal Secretary in the Malawi Ministry of Defense, Elvis Todi, who is also the chairperson of the commission, said state and public security officials from both nations meet to tackle shared threats like terrorism, human trafficking, smuggling, and border disputes, aiming to enhance regional peace, stability, and cooperation through joint strategies, intelligence sharing, and coordinated operations, strengthening ties through regular sessions and defense agreements.
It will also provide us with an opportunity to come up with new areas of cooperation, but also come up with resolutions that we then will be implementing in the year ahead. So ultimately, the idea is to make sure that we improve security, safety and security of our people in the two nations.
Co-chairperson representing the Secretary for Defense in Zambia, Irene Musonda Hawasimbi, said Zambia remains committed to efforts aimed at devising measures to ensure sustainable peace and security in the region. She therefore advised the delegates to devise strategies that can assist in curbing common security challenges.
And we have quite a number of porous areas where we are seeing some of these challenges like human trafficking, and we have smuggling of goods in and outside Zambia, as well as in and outside Malawi. And those are still challenges that we are still working on. And this is a platform where we need to give strategies and the ideas on how effective we can curb these activities that are happening along the border. So these are one of the things that we are trying to address, and it's one of the messages that we are going to really issue out during this session.
The two countries are expected to conclude the officials' high-level meeting with a set of joint recommendations which will be presented to ministers for consideration as part of efforts to strengthen bilateral defense and security cooperation. Nkhani Simtoe, MBC Lilongwe.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development Ben Piri has warned that government will not condone corrupt practices and abuse of public resources by public officials in district councils. He made the remarks in Machinga when he presided over the signing ceremony of district-based development cooperation between the Embassy of Iceland and Malawi. Details in this report by Owen Mavula.
The development cooperation agreement between the Embassy of Iceland and Malawi seeks to enhance support for basic services such as health, education, climate change, water and sanitation in 3 districts of Machinga, Balaka and Salima. The selection of the 3 districts follows collaborative assessment process jointly undertaken by the Ministry of Local Government and the Embassy of Iceland, which considered a number of factors, including the need for access to basic services, institutional readiness, and the quality of district proposals. Speaking during the signing ceremony, Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Dr. Benny Piri, called on the councils to ensure that the program benefits the intended communities and warned all public officers against abusing resources through corrupt means.
Basically, we cannot afford to let the president down by the usual way of doing business. We are saying you cannot be incompetent in Zomba and then become competent in Mangochi. That is not possible. We must change our attitude towards work. If you're incompetent, you will be fired. There is no room for negotiations. If you're corrupt, you'll be fired. If you are insubordinate, you'll be fired. Now we are in for serious business. The president means serious business, and entrusting us with this responsibility means a lot. We fail, the president fails.
On his part, Iceland Head of Mission to Malawi, Dr. David Banason, promised to continue supporting the government of Malawi in areas of development at all levels.
In a few months, we will have ready basic services program where Iceland can, through the government, support the districts in their efforts to enhance basic services such as education, health, maternal health, and water, gender equality in the districts, so that within, let's say, 3 to 4 months, we can start the program. So that is the expectation at this point, and of course the expectation in the long run is that we will, together with the government and the districts, deliver good results for the people in the communities, in hard-to-reach communities.
The Iceland's Development Cooperation started in 2012 in the districts of Mangochi and Nkhotakota. Owen Mavula, MBC, Machinga.
The World Bank has expressed satisfaction with projects being implemented under its funded initiative, the Regional Climate Resilience Programme, RCRP2. The projects aim to build resilient infrastructure capable of withstanding extreme weather events while prioritizing community involvement. Miriam Kaliza reports.
Nseru Primary School, located near Namitete town in Lilongwe, first opened its doors in 1940. Over the decades, the school has endured numerous natural disasters, leaving many of its blocks unusable, though enrollment at the school has steadily increased. This is set to change under the second phase of the World Bank-funded Regional Climate Resilience Programme 2. Government, through Lilongwe District Council, is constructing 2 resilient school blocks, 2 teachers' houses, and 4 toilets at Nseru Primary School. The school's head teacher, Alfred Nkata, expressed excitement over the development, noting that the new infrastructure will transform the learning environment for both teachers and learners.
The coming of this development is a relief to us. At the same time, it is also a motivation to our learners because they will learn in a very conducive environment. And even the teachers, 2 of them will come. It means they will be teaching freely, without wasting much of their time in terms of movements.
Malawi is implementing the second phase of RCPR2, a multi-million-dollar initiative designed to shield communities from increasingly severe climate-related disasters. The program has allocated 240 million United States dollars to Malawi from a total regional grant of 250 million United States dollars, with the remainder supporting coordination at the African Union level. The initiative prioritizes the construction and the rehabilitation of bridges, culverts and roads to restore connectivity and mitigate future disaster risks. Beyond infrastructure, it also strengthens district-level climate resilience, benefiting all 28 district councils through a decentralized model under the government-to-entity service delivery framework. Lower District Council reports steady progress in implementing disaster-resilient infrastructure. Ms. Mpungwe, Director of Planning and Development, says the Council is overseeing 3 rehabilitation projects worth over 631 million kwacha.
The Lower District Council received 631 million to rehabilitate the infrastructures that were affected by disasters that we have had for 2 or 3 years back. The RCRP, knowing that what we are trying to do is to build resilience to communities, what we did at first is to bring awareness to the community. We sensitized them about the project, and the objective of the project so that they understand the resilience component.
For his part, Kondwani Hirembo, Senior Disaster Risk Management Specialist with the World Bank, says RCRP2 operates in 5 circles with grants enabling districts to implement prioritized resilience works. Hirembo said so far so good, but stressed the need for safe and environmentally conscious construction as well as inclusive community engagement.
In general terms, what we can say is it appears the works have started quite well. These are works which are being implemented by the district councils. The project in itself has got 4 different components. And under one of the components, we've got a component which has got a sub-component that provides grants to districts to implement resilience works. And all these 3 sites are being implemented under that. So this particular grant, the way it works is that the districts at the beginning of the financial year present a list of projects they want to implement. And we have to verify that these activities are going to add to the resilience of the communities within which they are going to be implemented.
With such interventions, government and its partners aim to enhance Malawi's capacity to withstand climate shocks, safeguarding lives, livelihoods and essential infrastructure for years to come. Miriam Kaliza, MBC News, Lilongwe.
6 people suspected of murdering Dr. Victoria Bobe, who was a doctor at Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital as well as a lecturer at Kamuzu University of Health Sciences, KUHES, were taken to the late Dr. Bobe's house in Chigumula Township in Blantyre to demonstrate how they accessed the place. The demonstrations was led by Christopher Pangiti, who is Southwest Police Region. Charles Pensula accompanied the team and he has joined us live in our studios for more details. Hello, Charles.
Hello, Peter.
Briefly tell us, how has the investigation started?
Yeah, in fact, according to the police, the investigations started soon after the crime was conducted. But this time around, it has just reached at another level. Yeah, as people, Malawians might be aware, yesterday the Malawi police released a statement stating that they have managed to arrest 6 out of the 8 suspected criminals. So today the police invited the media to be with them where they paraded the suspects to the house in Chigumula where Dr. Bobe was murdered. So the media went there together with the police and see for themselves of what happened at the place. And those who have been arrested, according to the police, are 6. Out of the 6, 5 are locals. These are Malawians.
Yes.
And the 6th person is from Mozambique. And according to the information that I have gathered,
yes,
this Mozambican was is an ex-police officer right there in Mozambique.
All right. So now, out of the 6 suspects that have been arrested, did they at any point explain each of them their involvement in the murder?
Yeah, in fact, when we reached in Chigumula, they started explaining what they did at that particular night. Yeah, so the first 2 persons told the police that they were left outside the house, right at the main entrance, at the gate to the house. These people were told to alert those who were supposed to enter the house so that anything happening outside, or if they see anything fishy, they should be alerting their friends right inside the house.
Yes.
So the other 2 people took the police behind the house where they demonstrated how they drilled the brick fence. Using some screwdrivers and metal bars. That's according to them.
Yes.
Yeah, they used these instruments to drill the brick fence so that the other 2 entered using that hole which were drilled by these 2 people. But surprisingly, the fence is not that too high. that maybe someone cannot jump over it.
Yes.
Yeah, because it was maybe 1 or 1.5 meters. Yeah, but they drilled it so that they used the hole to access the compound.
And did they explain the motive behind the murder of Dr. Bobe?
Yeah, in fact, the police asked them why they murdered her, but they said they did not intended to murder her
yes.
because their intention was to steal. And they were asked so why they ended up murdering Dr. Bobe. They did not explain very clearly. Yeah, because as I've already said, the police says that some 2 more suspects are at large, and they're still hunting for them. Maybe those 2 people have also information relating to the same.
All right, so what was the mood in Chigumula this morning?
Yeah, in fact, the mood was very tense. In fact, when we arrived there, the neighbors, I think, were alerted that the police are parading the suspects,
yes.
The criminal suspects. So they gathered there. There were many people, and they tried to tell the police that they should leave them and take the law into their hands.
Yes.
They should deal with them. So, in fact, there was a heavy presence of the police, who tried to calm the situation and tried to chase away the neighbors who were trying to confront with them, and finally it was okay.
All right, lastly, according to the police, what's next now?
Yeah, according to them, since this is just the process of the investigation, after everything is done, then they will alert the nation what should be the next step, and maybe normally they should take them to court to answer the charges of murder. Yeah, but as of now, the police are saying that they will continue with the investigations until they reach at the bottom of the matter, before taking them to court. Sure.
We should commend our police there.
Yes, they have done a very good job because Malawians are eager and keen, waiting for this case to be completed, and they want to hear what is happening, and that is what the police also are doing. They assured us that at every step of the investigation, they'll be alerting the nation through the media, like what they did today. Yes.
All right, Charles, thank you very much for joining us live.
Thank you, Opire.
All right, you're watching MBC News here on MBC. A reminder of our top stories before we proceed. Malawi and Zambia commit to strengthening bilateral defense and security cooperation to deal with security challenges in both countries. Dr. Victoria Bobe's murder suspects paraded to the crime scene, and sugar distributors involved in hoarding and externalization of the commodity risk having their licenses revoked following a warning from Minister of Trade. Welcome back. UNAIDS, a global organization that coordinates the global response to HIV/AIDS, has called on key stakeholders to scale up efforts in resource mobilization if the fight against the pandemic is to be a success. Country Director for the organization, Dr. David Chimpata, made the call in Mangochi during commemorations of World AIDS Day. Dr. Chimpata said much as Malawi is making strides in the fight against the pandemic, more energy is required in resource mobilization for the fight amid funding cuts. Francis Panda has filed this report, read by Owen Mavula.
As the fight against further spread of HIV continues, a call has gone out to stakeholders to devise alternative ways of funding, following the scaling down of support from the donor community in recent years. Speaking during the commemoration of World AIDS Day in Mangochi, UNAIDS Country Director Dr. David Chimpata commended Malawi for being one of the countries which, apart from reducing stigma and discrimination, has also achieved the ambitious 95-95-95 goals in the fight against the virus towards the 2030 target. Dr. Chimpata said the commemoration provides an opportunity for Malawi and other countries worldwide to look through the portfolio of HIV fight, reflect on efforts and progress being made.
A message of consolidation, of reflection and additionality in terms of the AIDS response. The issue around consolidation is for Malawi and other countries to really look through the portfolio of the HIV that we are implementing and see which areas we can consolidate on and which areas we can drop, because the funding has dropped. And the second part is also on reflection within the whole government system to reflect very carefully where can we find resources to invest on HIV.
In his remarks, Deputy Mayor for Mangochi Municipality, Ishmael Nedi, called for mindset change on how HIV is spread and how to deal with its escalation as the fight continues.
Most of the people, they do have that mind that whosoever goes for research are the ones who also, in fact, get the disease. But there is various types of ways whereby someone can be affected by HIV and AIDS. More especially when we are traveling. It may happen sometimes that the accident occurred. Then on the process, by helping those who are victims, it may happen that maybe they had a card. Then by the time when you're helping them, you may end up by getting HIV and AIDS.
World AIDS Day is commemorated annually on 1st December, and Mangochi shifted the date due to other engagements.
The Family Planning Association of Malawi, FIPAM, has encouraged young people to explore innovative ways of generating income to sustain their activities amid ongoing funding challenges. FIPAM Executive Director Donald Makwakwa made the remarks during the organization's Youth Arm Youth Action Movement annual general meeting held in Mponela, Doha.
The funding landscape has greatly changed. And indeed, if you look at the statistics, especially from the Malawi Demographic Health Service, which show that in Malawi, the teenage pregnancies are on the rise. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we are fighting a losing battle. And that's the reason why we are gathered here today to find innovative ways of how we could continue to advance our objectives as an organization. Because we cannot just sit back and see things happening the way they are. We know it's high time now that indeed we have to fight really strongly to make sure that we provide the essential services to the young people, so that in the long term we can see a negative progression in terms of teenage pregnancies. We cannot just watch and see this going as it is at the moment.
For her part, young President Lucy White said the training on resource mobilization is timely and will help the different chapters sustain themselves.
Had our resource mobilization training. The aim of this training was to equip the young members for them to not just be relying on funding from the donors themselves in their branches as well. They can also do something tangible. They can find other income generating activities to support our goal of sexual reproductive health and rights. So we had a very good example from Nzuzu Yam Center. So Nzuzu Yam Center does several activities on income generating. They do make domas, they raise hybrid chickens, they make sweet malambe. At the end of everything, they sell these resources and they use that money to support their branches.
Technical Entrepreneurial Vocational Education and Training Authority, TVETA, says it is geared to promoting skills development among different communities through its technical colleges. Director of Training at TVETA, Modesto Gomani, said this at Likoma Community Ground during the graduation of people who underwent training under TVETA in the district. Jackson Sichale with the details.
Underscoring the need to improve service delivery in different sectors, TVETA continues to instill knowledge among communities in different fields, a development that is key in helping people to be financially independent and contribute positively to the development of the nation. Speaking during the institution's graduation ceremony at Likoma Community Ground, Director of Training Programs at TVETA, Modesto Gomani, said the initiation of technical colleges is a direct response to government's call to ensure that Malawians acquire skills that will enable them to create financial opportunities for their families and improve their living standards. Gomani therefore urged the graduates to be innovative and make sure that they apply the knowledge gained accordingly, in line with the Malawi 2063 blueprint of achieving self-financial independence.
Under the Malawi 2063, there is a pillar on capital development, and capital development hinges on skills development. That's why we are here to ask for equal participation of these youth by empowering them with the skills.
Council Chair for Likoma District, Justina Pidi, hailed Teveta for initiating technical training at the island, describing it as a game changer among residents of the area in enhancing socio-economic development. Otrik Mndali, who is among the graduates specialized in boat making, expressed gratitude to Teveta, saying he is ready to utilize the skills gained for the benefit of his family and the community.
It helps us to find a money that can help our families, relatives, even vulnerables, even old ones. You can help in several ways from our initiative.
Among 151 graduates, 110 were males and 41 were females, specializing in boat making, tailoring, carpentry and joinery, ICT and beekeeping, just to mention a few. Teveta has also donated 5 computers to Likoma Community Technical College to enhance their service delivery. Jackson Sejari, MBC News, Likoma.
Sugar distributors involved in hoarding or externalization of the commodity risk having their licenses revoked. Trade Minister George Partridge sounded the warning shot when he held talks with top management of Ilovo Sugar Malawi and the Competition and Fair Trading Commission in Lilongwe. Details in this report.
The minister's call comes as consumers are still struggling to find sugar in retail stores across the country. During the meeting, Partridge urged the main supplier of the sugar to ensure availability of the commodity, especially this festive season. According to the ministry's spokesperson, Patrick Bota, the ministry is breaking the monopoly of the sugar value chain by licensing 15 extra distributors.
For so many years, it has just been maybe 4 companies only in Malawi distributing sugar across the country, which maybe was giving room for these fair trade practices that you just mentioned, like hoarding or arbitrary price hiking, or even maybe smuggling. In some instances, there have been issues of alleged smuggling. So, what the ministry did in consultation with Ilovo, it had instructed Ilovo to do open tendering, to call for fresh applications so that more Malawians can be involved in the distribution of sugar in the sector itself. And in issue, in terms of hoarding and others, the ministry through the Business Licensing Act will continue to monitor, to do market surveillance, and where it has been proven that the traders are not complying, their licenses will be revoked.
Ilovo Managing Director Ronald Ngwira indicated that they have adequate stocks, 70,000 metric tons, which is above the 60,000 metric tons volume which the country will need in the next 4 off-season months. Meanwhile, Ilovo has given assurance of availability of the commodity this festive season. Elin Chimoyo, MBC News.
And that's it from our newsroom for now. But before we leave, a recap of our top stories. Malawi and Zambia commit to strengthening bilateral defense and security cooperation to deal with security challenges in both countries. Dr. Victoria Bobby's murder suspects paraded to the crime scene, and sugar distributors involved in hoarding and externalization of the commodity risk having their licenses revoked following a warning from Minister of Trade. You were with me, Upile Kaisa. Many thanks for watching. Good afternoon.
izquierda, tiene Abale.